Welcome to Lindamood-Bell Radio. I'm Dave Hungerford for Lindamood-Bell. This year, Lindamood-Bell is celebrating 40 years of helping individuals learn to their potential. If your child is struggling or could use an extra boost, our personalized one-to-one instruction can make a real difference. Students can attend live online or in person to catch up or get ahead in reading, comprehension, or math. It all starts with a thorough learning ability evaluation, leading to a customized plan tailored to your child's unique needs. In just a few weeks, our evidence-based instruction can make a lasting difference. Learn more at lindamoodbell.com or call 800-233-1819. Today's episode is a conversation I had with a parent I met at our learning center in Sydney, Australia. Here it is.
Okay, so my name's Jocelyn. We are here in Australia from the US. My husband's job brought us over here. He's in the US Army. We have two boys, 6 and 8, and they started school here in kindergarten, so they've only known school in Australia.
So what's their school experience been like?
It's been good. There's pluses and minuses with any school. My youngest started kindergarten here, so it was his first school experience, walked in the door and loved it, loved kindergarten. We had great teachers and it was wonderful, but he just wasn't learning at the same rate as the other kids. So the other kids started reading and recognizing letters and sounds and the correlation between the two. He just wasn't getting that. He just wanted to play, and it was kindergarten, so we weren't really bothered by it. And then the same thing kept happening throughout the year. He just wasn't learning at the same pace as other kids. So we started going to the school, and the school didn't really have any answers for us. There was no testing that they did. There was no counselors that helped us. It was just kind of a find your own way. So it was like a choose your own experience when your first kid starts kindergarten and there's just something not right and you don't know what it is and you don't know where to go.
What kind of school is it?
It's a public school. So, yep, it's in the city. It's in the suburb of Paddington. So Paddington Primary School. It's kindergarten through 6th grade. And it's a small school. There's only about total 300 students at the school. So
What city are you outside of?
Sydney, Australia. Yeah.
And so, were you familiar with American schools at all, enough to see if there was like a difference in the cultures?
A little bit. So I'm the oldest of 8 kids. My youngest sister is 18 years younger than me. So when she started school, I was in college. So I kind of went through school with her, probably a little bit more than most siblings are aware of. And then my youngest brother is 16 years younger than me, and he had some learning disabilities. So going through that with my parents, I knew what was available in U.S. schools as opposed to here. Yeah.
And just here, there just didn't seem to be kind of, it's up to you?
Yeah, it's very much, it's up to you. And they don't even have a full-time school counselor at our school. She's only there 3 days a week. 3 days a week if we're lucky. So it was tough. It was tough trying to figure out what to do and where to go and who to even talk to and what was going on,
So how did you, sadly this lack of school counselors is happening in the States as well.
Yeah, it's a problem everywhere.
Well, how did you hear about Lindamood-Bell?
We started with a developmental pediatrician. They had said to us, maybe he has autism or ADD or ADHD. So we went to the developmental pediatrician. She tested him. All his tests came back normal. She said, I think he has some working memory issues, but he's definitely not autistic anywhere. He's not on the spectrum. There's no concentration issues, maybe some memory stuff, but nothing that I can help you with. So she sent us to a psychologist. The psychologist tested him and diagnosed him with dyslexia. Which was great. We finally had an answer. It's like, okay, here we can do something with this now. But then we didn't know where to go after that. We went back to the school and the school said, we don't really have any help. They just recognized dyslexia as a learning disability here in Australia within the past 3 years.
How do they define dyslexia for you?
So there's no real definition besides he sees things differently. And it wasn't just dyslexia that he was diagnosed with. He was diagnosed with working memory, so short-term memory issues, and also phonological awareness issues, so hearing things differently. So not just if he looked at the paper and saw the obvious example is a letter D, he would see a letter B, but he would also not be able to hear the difference between a D and a B. So
it's not a sight; it's like a mental processing.
Exactly. Yeah. So he had.
Well, that's a start, because they used to say in the States it was just a vision issue, and so they give you glasses.
Give you colored glasses. Yeah, and they were. That was one of the things that was suggested to us was the rose-colored glasses, the two different colors. I did some research on that. I have a friend who's an optometrist, and she was like, "That's not going to help him." But the psychologist we were seeing said there's this program out of the U.S. called Lindamood-Bell. I don't think we have it here yet, but maybe you can go online and get some resources that you can use at home. So I Googled it, because that's what you do now. You Google everything. And it came up that there was a center in Double Bay, and we live 5 minutes from here. So I called right away and spoke to, I think, the director or, associate director here or somebody. And just went from there. So.
And what did they do? They had you come in for a testing?
Had us come in for a testing.
What was that like?
It was scary. It was really scary to have your kid tested. At the time he was 7, just turned 7.
And this is the oldest?
This is my oldest, yep. So he had just turned 7. We had already done all these other tests, and, you hear the word autism or spectrum, and you get really scared as a parent. It's a terrifying thing to go through, especially when you're in a foreign country. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what kind of help is available, and your parents aren't here. My mom wasn't here to help me out. So they came in and they did testing, and it was great. I have to say, it was very non-confrontational with how they do the testing here. It was great. And they start out with your kid's strengths. So the first thing Andy, our director here, said to me was, he's a really smart kid. Carrig is really, really smart. He said, he's just got some stuff that we need to work on, and we need to utilize his strengths to figure out this other stuff. And for the first time, I felt like we were going to teach Carrig to read. Like there was going to be light at the end of the tunnel. So it was a really good experience coming in here and being told that he's going to learn to read and that he was really smart. Because up until now, a lot of people have been telling us that he wasn't smart, he wasn't intelligent. He was just a kid who was a troublemaker and making problems in class. And that's not the Carrig we saw at home. So we wanted to go somewhere that would help us see the kid who we know. So
they told you he was a troublemaker? I mean,
yes.
His behavior was because of his...
He was acting out in class, because of his reading issue. He was bored in class. So later, after talking to him and some other sessions with the psychologist, we found out that instead of working one-on-one with him to find out if he was reading or not or what he was doing, his year 1 teacher would give him a coloring sheet of a dinosaur because he loves dinosaurs. So she would just give him a sheet of a dinosaur and have him color in the dinosaur where all the other kids are reading chapter books. So
how did you feel when you heard about that?
Oh, it was heartbreaking. I mean, there's so many nights I just cried with my husband because that's not what you want, and it was heartbreaking. Like even thinking about it, back on it now, like it makes me upset. Because to me, I saw this kid who could remember any facts. Like if he would watch a TV show about dinosaurs or the planets or other stuff, he would remember them. And I would be sitting in the car and we'd have a conversation about how the planets rotate around the sun. And I would say, oh yeah, they all rotate in the same direction. And Carrig would go, no, Mommy, there's 2 planets that go in the other direction. And his dad and I were like, what? No, there's not. Then we Google it and we're like, oh, you're right. Oops. Yeah. So we wanted a place that would see that kind of stuff. And so it was.
Instruction. Did you do the traditional?
Yes, the intensive 4 hours. We started at 6 hours a day. It was just too much. So we bumped him back to 4 hours a day. And we did that for 4 months. We started at a 4-month intensive period to bring him up to a kindergarten level, basically, where he could recognize all the letters and see the sounds that go along with them, basic sight words like cat, the, and, a, all of those things. And it took us a while, and he was very resistant at first because he hated school. He hated anything to do with learning.
Plus, we tested you for 4 hours. We found something you're not maybe good at.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to do.
Yeah. So we went through a lot of trial and error here. We had a great consultant who worked with him about what motivated him. So we went through a phase where he kind of threw a lot of temper tantrums and didn't want to learn, didn't want to be here. And then I came in for a meeting and I said, well, what if we bribe him? Right? Bribery works for me. So we created like a roadmap, like a race. And then for every so many sight words he recognized or air writing, he would get points. And then at the end of it, he got to, I forget what our first prize was, but he got to go somewhere special, like go to Taronga Zoo and see the kangaroos and do all of that kind of stuff. So so bribery works.
Or as we like to call it,
incentives. Yes. So I just booked him a day at Taronga Zoo as a zookeeper. For the end of, because he's going through another intensive period. So for the end of this one, if he meets all of his goals, he'll get to go and be a zookeeper for the day. So he gets to go behind the scenes and yeah. My husband and I were like, do they have an adult one? Can we go do this? Yeah. Yeah, that's the biggest thing was finally having some answers. Like, this is where you can, this is what you should do. Like, okay, great. We can start with that.
So we were talking about the amount of weeks he was here, and you said it was
pretty long. His first one was pretty long.
Did you pull him out of school?
Yes, we did.
What was that conversation like with the school?
Well, I had, the school and I were not getting along at that point. His teacher so she was a combined classroom teacher. So she had year 1 and year 2. She was the learning support coordinator and she was the vice principal. Our principal had just went on maternity leave. So she was the principal for all intents and purposes. And she was the one who was handing my child a sheet to color. So she and I had a couple of fights. I was pretty angry with her at this point, and I just went in and said, you can't give my child what he needs. I'm taking him to this center. Tell me whatever paperwork he needs to fill out, but this will start on Monday, and we're going to try this. And I honestly think she was happy to not have him in the classroom at that point, and probably not to deal with me on a daily basis. So the school was fine with it. And now he's still at the same school. She's left the school. We have a different principal. We have a different vice principal. He's got an amazing teacher this year who told me at the beginning of the year, she said, my goal for Carrick at school this year is to get him to like coming to school again. And so when I heard that, I just cried yet again. So happy.
There must have been some progress or you wouldn't be here right now.
Yes. Yeah, so by the end of the intensive period, he was reading small books by himself. I think like the biggest moment for me was when he came into my room with a Dr. Seuss book, a basic one. I think it was Green Eggs and Ham, and read me Green Eggs and Ham. Like, he read the first 5 pages all on his own without any help. And that was such a good feeling, like for your kid to finally see what you see. And to make that progress. And yeah, it was really good. So we did that. So that was, I think, 4 months was our first intensive block. It took a long time. Yeah, it was a lot of ups and downs.
Tell me, how would you explain and describe the program? Seeing Stars was probably it?
He did both. So the Seeing Stars and visualizing, he took parts of both.
How would you describe those programs to a parent? This is not a quiz.
I've had a bunch of parents whose kids have asked what Carrick's doing. And I don't really say one or the other. I don't describe visualizing, verbalizing, or seeing stars or doing that. I just say that they take his strengths and work off of that. So if he's good at telling a story, it's all about him telling a story and then incorporating, words to that.
They talk to you about the imagery,
yes,
that connection, and what that.
Yes. So the imagery and how that connects with memorizing and being able to tell a story, and it's not just, creating sounds. So the going from 3 sounds to 4 sounds to 5 sounds and multi-syllables and going through the different steps. And
he's probably done a lot of the air writing to connect the letters to the sounds, right?
Yes, air writing and. Yeah, it's not his favorite part. No? He hates air writing.
Really like that.
No, he hates it. But that's what his weakness is. His weakness is in the symbol imagery. So it's hard for him to maintain for sounds. So that's what he doesn't like. He struggles with that. So, but yeah, to me, it's not the program. For me, it's the other support that they give him. here. It's that building him up, making him see that he is a bright kid, and learning can be fun. So
he's going into what year or grade level?
He's in the middle of year 2. So yeah, so we've been doing this for just over a year and a half.
And in the States, like grades 3 and 4 is kind of a change from learning to read to reading to learn.
Right.
I would presume.
Same thing here, yes.
What are your aspirations and feelings of how he's going to do for that?
Oh, I just take it one day at a time right now. I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned from all of this is just focus on what he's doing right now, not focus on what he's going to do. He came home the other day and he was really scared. He was talking to some year 3 kids and he was scared about having to write down his presentation notes. So Carrick is really good at being able to stand up in front of the class and do a presentation without any notes. He just puts the pictures up and he talks about it, and he's pretty spot on with most of it. But he said next year he came home and he said, "Oh, Mom, I have to write down my notes and I have to read off of my notes and I'm so scared about that. What do I do?" And I said, "You've already mastered it. The other kids have to write down the notes because they can't remember it and they can't speak off the top of their heads. But you've got that part, so don't worry about that." So
yeah, they say the fear of public speaking is greater than the fear of death.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the greatest fear of them all.
Yeah, so
got that conquered.
So he's got that covered. So he'll get there. I'm not as worried about it as I used to be. When you watch your kid take those first steps to read, and it takes so long to get those first steps, I think you realize that the other stuff will come. It'll get there. It might take longer than other kids. He might learn differently than other kids, but he's still going to get there. He can still do anything he wants to be. He can be a doctor or a paleontologist or whatever he wants to be. Yeah. I don't worry about that. I try not to worry about that. I just try to take it one day at a time.
Well, what would you say to parents that think, well, maybe this is just kind of more for American kids and that style of education? Do you feel like that's the case?
No, I haven't seen that. When we first moved here, a lot of the teachers asked us what the difference was between Australian schools and U.S. schools, and we couldn't answer because we hadn't been to school in the States. But I don't think there is difference. I think everybody wants kids to learn. All the teachers, that's all they want is for their kids to leave their classroom knowing more than when they came in. And I don't really think it's that different. Yeah, there's minor differences. There's not as many teachers on the playground during recess in Australia as there would be in the States. And that has its pluses and minuses. But when it comes to the basics of reading and math and social studies and all of that other stuff, it's the same. Kids they read the same books. The books are the same.
Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, Dr. Seuss. And of course you have Australian authors that have emus in their books as opposed to cows or whatever, but I don't see a lot of friction. Yeah, maybe that's just because I don't know, but we don't. Yeah, we started here, so we haven't noticed that. Yeah.
And your younger son's here as well.
Yes. So my youngest son has speech apraxia, so he didn't start speaking till he was about 3. So he's had just delayed speech, and he's seen a speech therapist since he was, 18 months, I think. And it was working so well for my oldest that we just said, let's just bring Rory in and see. He didn't have the same struggles that Carrick has. So my youngest, it takes him longer to read, but in a different way. And mostly because you just can't understand him. So he was reading the words correctly in his brain, but he was speaking them incorrectly. And that's purely because of his speech. So we just said, whatever help you can give your kid, you might as well use. And we were already coming here. So we brought him in and had him tested. And luckily he only had to do the shorter test because he was younger. So I think he did the 2-hour test, which is a little bit better for him.
Pat Lindamood was a speech pathologist by trade.
Yes. Yeah. So and it's been great with him. The thing that I've really noticed about Lindamood-Bell with my youngest is that they work with his speech therapist. So they're constantly talking to each other about what she's working on and how that will impact his reading. So they go back and forth with each other a lot. They send emails, and his speech therapist is not associated with Lindamood-Bell at all, but she is trained in visualizing, verbalizing. So he was doing that with her before we even had heard of Lindamood-Bell. Just she incorporates that into her speech therapy sessions with the kids. So
they do a pretty good job in this office. We were at school yesterday talking to a teacher. They said that a lot of our staff have gone out to the school to talk
yes,
with the teachers and work with them
Yep.
at the school to explain what they're doing. They've even had workshops at their school out in, was it Annan? No,
Arndale, yeah. I know twice this term the director has come up to our school to have meetings with his teacher. And it's been a great working relationship this year. They've got together on the schedule. So right now he's doing the holiday school intensive period, but he also goes for 2 hours in the morning during the school term. So he'll go from 8:30 to 10:30 here and then go to school for the rest of the day. So they coordinated like which days work best for the morning and, can we switch this class time around so that he can still go to gym class and all of that kind of fun stuff so he doesn't get to miss anything. But then also what they can do in the classroom to support what he's learning here so that they both are working together much better, which is great. So yeah, that's always good. Yeah, it's and it helps too, like with siblings. Like I know there's other siblings that have done it, but like I said to you, like when one kid goes over the school holidays and he perceives that the other kid is just staying home with mom watching TV or going to the beach all day, it's not much fun. So
the other one thinks that he's having a special time over at Lindamood-Bell, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. Rory's like so jealous. Yeah, as soon as we drop Carrigoff, so we drop Carrigoff first and then I take Rory up to school. And as soon as we drop Carrigoff, Rory's in the car crying, I want to go to Lindamood-Bell. I'm like, what? Like, all right, it's fine with me. So yeah, so it's good. But yeah, I love living in Australia, but with everything we went through that first year, I don't know if I would still be living here if we hadn't found Lindamood-Bell. It was a struggle. It was a struggle. Just trying to figure out where to go. Like just the process. There's no, and I'm sure it's this way in the States too, but there's just no easy answer for kids who learn a little differently, and that's hard.
And then he said, who was it that suggested it was your...
The psychologist. Yes, the psychologist. And he was recommended to us from, I don't even remember, I think of the developmental pediatrician. So we started at the GP, went to the developmental pediatrician, and then went to the psychologist, and then came here.
So 3 degrees of separation.
Yeah. And he didn't even know you guys were here. He had just done studies for kids with dyslexia and saw some of the results that were coming out of the US. And so he said, just look up this program. Maybe you can do something at home. Thank God for Google. And then it came up, there's a center in Double Bay. It's like, what? So we were truly immersed in Australian culture.
Well, we really appreciate you coming in.
Well, thanks.
And thank you for listening. You can reach us at our website, lindamoodbell.com, or call us at 800-233-1819. You can also follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X. We are Lindamood-Bell.